Today we're going to take a look at combining algebra and geometry. So what I mean is using these formulas that we've been using with geometry to find the area, but having a variable that is unknown here. So you'll notice in this example, our height is listed as x plus 5. So we can use our formula, a equals bh, to solve for x. So we'll start with our formula. We know that the area is equal to the base times the height. And as always, we'll begin by substituting the values that we know. So we know that our area is 168, our base is 12, and our height is x plus 5. So now if you remember back to the last playlist assignment that we did, we solved two-step equations like this one. So remember, we'll want to think of algebra as working backward. And so if we were looking at this problem, we have x, right, some number, and we added 5 to that, and then we multiplied that by 12 and got 168. So if we're working backward, that last thing we did was multiplying by 12. So that's the first thing we want to undo. So we can kind of look at doing the opposite of order of operations. So if we know the first thing we would do in order of operations would be addition, and then we would multiply, then in this case we're going to do the opposite. So we start by dividing by 12. You'll see that 12 divided by 12 on the right side of our equation is just 1. So that leaves us with simply x plus 5 on the right side of the equation and 168 divided by 12 on the left side. So we can see that 12 goes into 16 once, and 12 goes into 48 4 times. So we would get 14 is equal to x plus 5. Now we can see our last step here in order to isolate x would be to subtract 5 from both sides, and that leaves us with 9 equals x. So you can see that x is 9, and you could always go back and check your answer by substituting that value 9 into the original equation. So we know that 168 should be equal to 12 times 9 plus 5. We know that 9 plus 5 is 14, so that gives us 168 equals 12 times 14. And you can check your multiplication there. 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 1 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. And we get 168 equals 168. So we know that x does indeed equal 9. Let's look at one more example. So this time we have a triangle, and we're told that the area is equal to 32.4 square inches. We have a height of 9 inches and a base of 3x. So we know that 3 times x will be our base, and we want to find what x is. So once again, we'll start with our formula. For a triangle, that's a equals 1/2 times the base times the height. So we know our area is 32.4, and our base will be 3x, and our height will be 9 inches. So now we can start by simplifying here, because we know we can multiply all of these terms on the right side of our equation together. So we have 1/2 times 3x times 9. We know that 1/2 times 9 would be 4.5. So we can do 4.5 times 3. And we get 13.5. So we know that on the right side of our equation, we're going to have 13.5 times x, and that will equal 32.4. Then we can solve for x by dividing by 13.5 on both sides. We start by moving our decimal once to the right. And 135 will go into 324. 2 times, that's 270. And 135 will go into 540 4 times. And 135 times 4 is 540. So we get 2.4 is equal to x. And once again, we can check our answer by using the original formula. So 32.4 should be equal to 1/2 times 3 times 2.4 times 9. So we could start with 2.4 times 3. We would get 7.2. So now we have 32.4 equals 1/2 times 7.2 times 9. We can find half of 7.2, which would be 3.6. So 32.4 should be equal to 3.6 times 9. And we can just check our work there. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 5 is 32. And 32.4 is equal to 32.4, so we know that x is indeed 2.4.